I'm going to go ahead and give everybody a quick content warning. We are going to be talking about a follow-up to the Nex Benedict situation. If you already know what's going on, then you know what you're getting into. Cool. If you don't know what's going on, content warning for suicide and bigotry and me getting angry. Those things. Whether or not there's even more of a stream when I'm done with this is going to be completely up to whether or not I have expounded all of my expounded too much and expended all of my spoons by the time I'm done with this. So, we will see. But if you remember, we covered a while ago, I did an impromptu video talking about the death of Nex Benedict, a non-binary teenager in Oklahoma who died tragically at the age of 16 after being beat in the bathroom by a bunch of their peers. And I made a prediction during that, and that was that this is going to be looked at as a suicide. And turns out that is exactly what has happened. Now, I said exactly how that was going to go as well. I said, hey, if this turns out to have been a suicide, then we know it was a suicide put on due to years of abuse by their peers that was unaddressed, that the grandparents have been trying to get addressed by the school system and were not able to get addressed. So, we already know that. But people like Shoutout of Libs of TikTok and everyone else on the right end of politics is going to use this instead as a way to springboard and go, see, they weren't beat. That means the leftists were lying. When if somebody commits suicide because they are tired of having every other thing go wrong in their life because of their peers abusing them, then I'm sorry, but you don't get off scot-free just because the person didn't technically die to the beating. That's not how that works. So, we're going to go over the article, and then we're going to go further into things. So, death of Nex Benedict after school fight has been ruled a suicide due to the medical examiner. Again, that was something that we predicted that was probably going to end up happening. Oklahoma City Associated Press, the death of non-binary student Nex Benedict, the day after a fight inside an Oklahoma school restroom, has been ruled a suicide, the state medical examiner's office said on Wednesday. A summary autopsy was released more than a month after the death of the 16-year-old Nex, a student at Owasso High School. Family members said Nex had been bullied at school, and the teenager's death in February drew concern from LGBTQ plus rights groups, as well as from Oklahoma's governor and the White House. President Biden has made a statement on this as well. From the beginning of this investigation, Owasso police observed many indications that the death was a result of suicide. Owasso Police Department Lieutenant Nick Boatman said in a statement. However, they did not want to confirm that information without the final results being presented from the Oklahoma Medical Examiner's office. In a 911 call on February 8th, Sue Benedict, the teen's grandmother and legal guardian. In my previous video, I said mother. That was a mistake on my part. Apologies. Apparently, the mother has been less than supportive, and, well, we see what that has led to. Has expressed concern about a head injury. The teenager was conscious and alert after the fight earlier that day when they told police about the attack by 3 girls that occurred after the teen had squirted them with water, according to police video released last month. Now, for context, the reason the water squirting happened at all, from what I understand, was because of several months of bullying from these people towards Nex. This was the straw broke the camel's back type of situation. And the way the Nex decided to go about that was with water. One of the least threatening things you could do to a person to piss them off. The report showed Benedict had toxic levels of 2 drugs in their system and died of an overdose. The complete autopsy will be released in 10 days in accordance with state law, said the medical examiner's office. Boatman would not confirm whether or not police found a note from Benedict at the scene. A lawyer for the Benedict family, Jacob Bybee, told the Associated Press that he was working on a statement from the family Wednesday, but declined to comment further. In video footage from the hospital the day of the altercation, Benedict explains to an officer that the girls had been picking on them and their friends because of the way they dressed. Benedict claimed that in the bathroom, the students said something like, "Why do they laugh like that?" referring to Benedict and their friends. And so I went up there and I poured water on them, and then the three of them came at me. Paramedics responded to the family's house and performed CPR on the teen before rushing to the hospital, where they later died. Family members have said Benedict was non-binary, meaning they don't identify as strictly male or female. There's a quote here saying that bullying and harassment have significant impact on students, and tragically many of these youths believe that suicide is the only option for peace, said Brandon Dilawari, a case manager at Rainbow Youth Project USA, an Indiana-based group that aims to improve the safety and wellness of LGBTQ people. They said this is not an isolated incident by any means. The group reported a dramatic spike in calls from Oklahoma to its National Crisis Center after news of the teen's death became public. So, that leads us to where we are right now. And I have been looking at how responses to this have been going on Twitter, because as Twitter moves further and further into right-wing bullshit, then it's easier and easier to see kind of how people are responding on that particular line. So if you look over, say, here at Riley Gaines, when somebody mentioned that every trans suicide is a murder, remember Nex Benedict. The reason that they say stuff like that is because we know that the trans suicide rates are primarily caused not by mental illness, but by social situations around them that could be changed if the people around them were less fucking assholes. And of course, Riley Gaines, a noted 5th place swimming winner that bitches about anybody getting, and anybody who happens to be trans ever getting anywhere close to 5th place. She's very proud of 5th place. Riley Gaines says, add this to the list of reasons the gender ideology movement as a whole is quickly imploding on itself. WPATH files, UK bans puberty blockers for minors, the media falsely listing Nex's suicide at the hands of her trans medication as a murder. At the hands of her trans medication. First of all, yeah, obviously there's misgendering Nex. Secondly, we don't have any information from the toxicology report that it was the trans medication that did it. Let me double check that real quick. Let's see here. Suicide as cause of death. Let's go ahead and pull up not one, not two, but 3 different publications on Nex Benedict's death and see if we can find what happened here. Died of an overdose. Won't say which drug. Nope. Okay, cool. What about on Vox? There's one instance of the word overdose. Caused by a combination. All right. Caused by a combination of Benadryl and Prozac. Benadryl and Prozac. Now, I'm not a chemist, but I'm fairly certain neither of those are fucking hormones. I am fairly certain neither of those are hormones, Riley. And I don't think either of those are used specifically in trans healthcare. Not really. And let's see here. Prozac is used to treat major depressive disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, panic disorders. So wait, hold on. A teen overdosed on depression medication that they were likely on because of the environment around them. That's what killed them. Well, Riddle of Lightning, remember, it wasn't just Benadryl. It was Benadryl and Prozac. It was the 2 of them. Together. Oklahoma, Nitros. So Riley Gaines here idiot that she is claiming that a non-binary teen died as a result of hormone therapy, when that's not what happened. But, of course, she's smart enough to realize that, right? No? Oh, okay. Cool. Biden's statement on the entire ordeal will open up real quick to read. Statement from the President Joe Biden on Nex Benedict. Jill and I are heartbroken by the recent loss of Nex. Every young person deserves to have the fundamental right to freedom and be who they are and feel safe and supported in school and in their communities. Nex is a kid who just wanted to be accepted and should still be here with us today. Non-binary and trans people are some of the bravest Americans I know, but nobody should have to be brave just to be themselves. In memory of Nex, we must all recommit to our work to end discrimination and address the suicide crisis impacting too many non-binary and trans kids. Bullying is hurtful and cruel. You can understand what the rest of the statement is. You can read the rest of it if you want. But the crux of it seems to be, or the crux of all of this, seems to be the idea that being trans is what caused Nex's death, when it was being bullied that caused it, functionally. This threat is to name and shame the lying liars who weaponize the Nex Benedict's suicide against people who know that sex is real and binary. Oh, okay. What is this one?
Or not. At the beginning of the school year, Oklahoma played this public service announcement for students. What is reality?
We're going to only allow boys to go in the boys' bathroom, girls go in the girls' bathroom. There's dangerous consequences.
So next, a straight...
Oh, wait, hold on. So... even the Oklahoma schools were literally just pushing propaganda against their students who might be trans. Oh, okay. Gee, I wonder what it might be to grow up in an environment like that. I wonder what it might feel like to grow up in an environment like that.
A student followed the law and went into the girls' room.
911.
They didn't know that 3 older girls followed them inside.
I need someone here now.
Inside the bathroom, Nex was getting harassed so badly, they poured a little water on one of the girls.
She's the one who started it.
So those 3 girls grabbed Nex's head.
Just because there's water doesn't make it any better.
And for 2 full minutes,
And I'm not blaming you.
started repeatedly smashing it into the tile.
It's salt, the water.
It was so loud, a teacher came in, took Nex to the principal's office, and suspended them. The school never called an ambulance or filed a police report. So Nex's family took them to the hospital where they died. And the police have the audacity to say Nex's death wasn't caused by the beating.
So, I would still say the beating can contribute to that. Your ability to handle an overdose is significantly lowered when you are engaging in severe physical trauma. But, you know. Said assault, those girls could have in fact been witches and melted. Yeah. Let's see here. This tweet was believed by the author. The people that tell us trans kids are extremely high risk for suicide cannot imagine a world in which Nex ended their life. And of course, there are people on the right now, I'm assuming on the right, considering that the paraphernalia here is all that, but who are trying to ride this. The exact way that I said this was going to fucking happen. These people are ridiculously happy that Nex killed themselves because it makes them feel justified in their positions. It makes them feel justified as bullies. It makes them feel justified as pieces of shit. Oh, it's not that the trauma killed them, you lying liar. It's that they killed themselves. That makes it better. That makes it different somehow. Except, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. Taproot says, given the head injuries, is it possible that could have affected decision-making? I am not an expert. I could not tell you that. No idea. No idea. What I do know is I'm pissed. This is not the type of thing that I wanted to be right on. This is not the type of thing that I wanted to be able to say, look at that, I'm correct. No. Because that makes me feel even more like shit. It's bad enough when somebody is beat to death. It is just as bad, if not worse, when somebody feels like they have to take their own lives. And yet, somehow, that makes it better to right-wing dipshits on the internet and people like Riley Gaines that think that they know more than the coroner's report did about the toxicology in Nex's system and the specific drugs involved that caused the death, aided the death. It's kind of disgusting. It kind of shows the exact kind of people that these people are. Gee, it's no wonder that J.K. Rowling has been going on Holocaust denialism lately. But that's as much as I can handle for that. I'm going to end this video. I need to step away from this. And while I want to cover the Ben Shapiro shit, I don't think I've got that in me. I think this may be the ending of the stream to prevent me from engaging in yelling and screaming and other debauchery. So that's a new low even for J.K. Rowling? Yeah, no, J.K. Rowling's been going on Twitter talking about how the Nazis never did anything to trans people, actually, and the Nazis actually really supported the trans people, despite all of the evidence and scholarly data showing that is not the case. So, I'm gonna go to bed. That's where I'm at. I'm gonna go to bed. Insert end of video tagline here. Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Nixie-chan, the Oberon team, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.